All right, normally I don't do this. I just talk about the performance and the feel of a cube and not really look at the internal parts of it because usually they're not important, but it feels so different from the Valk that I feel like I need to do this. So the corner pieces look almost exactly the same. So the white one being the Valk Power. Like this top ridge is a little bit shorter and there are also holes in the Valk piece. So like besides that, they're basically identical. All right, let's look at the edges. So again, the edges basically have the exact same shape. Okay, so at the top here, this top part sticking out is a little bit different because this one looks very flat and this one looks like it has some sort of ridge in there. I don't know if I can show it. There we go. I don't know if that does anything though. Like, does anything slide in there? Because it looks like the ridge ends, so I really don't think that does anything. All right, so my conclusion is that these two cubes look almost exactly the same. And if any of you guys know why they feel or sound so different, please let me know in the comments because this is really puzzling. Okay, so I just did something really weird. I swapped two pieces from the Valk Power with the Valk. So you can see this is a regular Valk, all black pieces, but I put in two white pieces there. And then similarly, this is the Valk Power with Valk pieces in there. So I'm sure some of you guys are thinking this because I'm thinking it too. Is there some optimal combination of Valk Power with Valk pieces that would make it even better than either of these two? I think that will be interesting and I'll test it a little bit. All right, so what I've done is I've separated these pieces into 4 piles. So we have here all the Valk Power pieces and all the Valk pieces, and of course separated into corners and edges. So another thing I noticed about these cores is they are a little bit different. So there's like these little ridges in here in the Valk Power core, and the regular Valk core does not have those. But it's not supposed to make a difference because I tried to slide some pieces past this and they don't touch it. So obviously it would be a bad thing if they touch these, but everything else about the core looks the same, like the center pieces. So I'm assuming the cores are like functionally the same. So I think what I'll do first is put all the Valk Power edges with the Valk corners and see how that goes. All right, now that this has been assembled, I'm going to assemble the Valk Power corners with the Valk edges. All right, so it's done. The one that says Speed Cube Shop is going to be the one with the Valk Power corners, and the Valk Power edges will go with the one that says Valk Power. Okay, I'm going to need another cube for comparison because I totally forgot what cubes feel like now. So with the Valk Power corners and the Valk edges. So I think some of the elastic feel that I was talking about kind of went away, but at the same time, it does still feel more Valk Power than it does feel regular Valk. Okay, so now I'll get some first impressions on the one with the Valk Power edges. Okay, so what I've realized now is that whichever corners you have, it sounds like that one. So this one still feels very Valk Power, but it sounds like the regular Valk. So like the one with the regular Valk normally has a lower pitch sound, and this one does have a lower pitch sound too. And then here's the Valk Power corners. So I guess the corners is mostly what contributes to that sound. Jeez, okay, this one is really, really fast. It's faster than the Valk Power, and it's faster than the Valk. I somehow made a cube that's faster than both. I guess some of these pieces were holding it back. There's something that feels really, really loose about this one. Maybe the pieces are a bit different, because as soon as I start corner cutting, it looks like the pieces aren't holding together so well. You know what? Maybe these cubes were not meant to be mixed. I haven't felt anything amazing yet. Oh my god, this one, what the? This one is amazing corner cutting. It cuts like line to line regular, and then, what about reverse? Well, that's still regular somehow. And then this one in reverse. All right, so there's only so much I can tell from just doing a few turns, and I'll have some solves on these too. So this is really cool. I have 2 new cubes as a result of this. All right, so here you're gonna see a bunch of solves on both of these cubes, and the one that I'm starting with is the one that has the Speed Cube Shop logo, and the one with the Speed Cube Shop logo is the one with the Valk Power corners and regular Valk edges. So what I realized is that if the corners in the cube come from the Valk Power, then it'll sound more like the Valk Power. But if the corners in the cube come from the Valk, then it'll sound more like the Valk. And the edges don't actually really affect this. But another thing that I noticed is that the way the cube feels, like its speed and just its general feel, tend to come from the edges actually. So the one that I'm using here with the Speed Cube Shop logo, remember it has regular Valk edges, and this one does actually feel more like a regular Valk. The one that you're going to see in the later solves sounds more like a regular Valk because it has the Valk corners, but it feels more like a Valk Power because it has the Valk Power edges. So again, the sound comes from the corners, but the feel comes from the edges. So overall, which one I like more? I think I like the Speed Cube Shop logo one, the one with the Valk Power corners and regular Valk edges. And the reason for this might just be because it feels more like a regular Valk since it has Valk edges. But compared to the other one, it is a little bit slower and more controllable. I feel like it also catches less. However, I don't like it more than a regular Valk, so this isn't anything revolutionary, but I do like it more than the regular Valk Power. So the reason for this is because the Valk Power catches pretty much just as much as this hybrid cube, but it is also slower, and I think the speed of this one feels better. So the pieces I used were from a magnetic Valk and a magnetic Valk Power, but the ending result does not feel magnetic at all, and I couldn't open the Valk Power pieces, but I think it's because the magnets are not aligned with each other. So of course these cubes were made separately and were never intended to be put together, so it's understandable that they wouldn't be aligned together properly. So a quick demonstration of the magnets. So it stuck for like a millisecond and then came off. Alright, then something else I found is if I held them like this so they had to stay together, I don't know what it's doing. Like it's repelling something and it's attracting somewhere else. If this was like a cube that I magnetized, then this would have been a really bad job. But of course these come from two different cubes, so I can't really expect them to be magnetized compatibly. So if any of you guys are already planning to magnetize a Valk and a Valk Power, then I recommend trying to put the magnets in the same spot so that you could also try out these two hybrid cubes. So I really think this one could benefit from magnets because it wasn't really retaining its cube shape all the time and there were some minor catches going on. So I don't think everyone's going to agree with me on this, that this feels better than the Valk Power, but I do think it's worth trying if you have both of the cubes. Now, another thing is this isn't amazing by any means. It might be amazing with magnets, I don't know, but I really don't recommend buying both of these cubes just so you can put it together. Remember, this is not some revolutionary new cube I came up with. This is not amazing. So I only recommend trying this if you already have both of the cubes or you were already planning on getting both of these cubes. And I'd love to know if any of you guys end up magnetizing these with the magnets in the same spot to see what it feels like. When I first mixed the pieces together, I was skeptical about whether or not it would work, but I really hoped that it would have good results. And unfortunately, it did work out better than I thought it would, but it didn't work out as much as I hoped. On the inside, I was wishing for some new amazing cube, but unfortunately, that's not what I got. So if you haven't already, you should check out my Valk Power and Valk Power M review. And I guess that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey guys, I actually have some more to say in this video. So first of all, if you managed to make it this far in the video, thank you for watching and sticking all the way through to the end. And so what I'm going to talk about here is the whole deal with me getting a bunch of cubes now. So some people ask me like, where do I get all the money? And of course, I'm sponsored by Speed Cube Shop. I talk about like the discount code in the beginning of my reviews. Anyway, before I was sponsored, I didn't have this great opportunity to try a bunch of cubes. And the thing is, I'm trying them all, but a lot of the ones that I get, I don't end up liking, and there's no way I would have spent this much money if I was not sponsored and could get them for free. So the reason I recommend other cubes during certain reviews, for example, I didn't really like the Valk Power, so I recommended a ton of other cubes that you should try. So the reason for that is because I don't think you should buy all the new cubes. There are simply too many, and a lot of them are more expensive than from like a few years ago. There shouldn't be any pressure to buy as many cubes as the YouTubers you're seeing. Remember, these are just the people you're seeing, and if you ask your cubing friends, like some of them will have these cubes, some of them will have other cubes, but not everyone has all of them. So I think it's really important to hang out with other cubers or go to competitions and see if you can try other people's cubes before you buy new cubes so that you have a good idea of whether or not you'll like it. That way you know whether or not your purchase was worth it. So back to my situation where I get a lot of cubes, this is not to try and set an example that you should also get a lot of cubes. Instead, what I'm trying to do is just try all of them and filter out the ones that are worth buying. Now, if you see my unboxing, you can kind of see the idea behind this. The only time that I do an unboxing of a ton of cubes without a formal review is when I'm trying to like figure out which one is the best of these and which ones you should get. Obviously, I got like 20 plus cubes in the unboxing, and I don't recommend anyone to buy 20 cubes at once. But the whole point was that it's easy for me to get them so that I can try them out, see which ones are good, and then let you guys know which ones I think are good. And also, I think it would really suck if I were to like lie and say the Valk Power was good because everyone is saying that. Of course, that would cause more people to buy it, but then I would get all these comments saying, hey, I don't like it. Or maybe I wouldn't. Maybe everyone would like it. But my honest opinion is just that I don't like the Valk Power. And if you're really looking to buy a cube, I don't want anyone to get it from me that the Valk Power was good. And instead, I think like the Valk and GTS2 and Gan Air SM are a lot better. So that's why I only recommend those, even though it's in the review of the Valk Power. Anyway, what I'm saying is don't go around buying every single cube. It's just not worth it. Pick the ones that are good and stick with those.